From Lake Rupkund, with its hundreds of skeletons scattered across the Himalayas, to the Stone Age cannibalistic rituals in Britain, and even the reappearance of bird species once thought to be extinct, each discovery adds another vivid and unexpected piece to the picture of a world we believed we understood, but that, in truth, still holds countless unsolved mysteries. Let's explore them together in today's video. So fasten your seatbelt as we dive into today's mystery. But first, you'll have incredible luck if you like, and subscribe before this video ends. The Skeleton Lake of the Himalayas. Hidden deep within the treacherous reaches of the Himalayas, Rupkund Lake, often called Skeleton Lake, has become one of the greatest mysteries in the world of archaeology. Situated at an altitude of more than 5,000 meters above sea level, Rupkund is enough to make anyone shudder at the sight of hundreds of white human skeletons scattered across its frozen bed. This astonishing discovery first came to light in 1942 when a group of British patrol soldiers happened to pass through the area and were stunned to realize the sheer number of skeletons lying tangled together. Most of them were still intact, thanks to the harsh climate of the high mountains. Decades later, scientists would conduct more thorough research, using advanced genetic analysis technology to determine the origins and ages of these human remains. The surprising results showed that Rupkund Lake contains not only the remains of indigenous South Asians, but also those who came from Southeast Asia, and even as far away as the Mediterranean region. In particular, these skeletons did not all appear at the same time or in a single tragic event, but instead were deposited over many centuries, with dates ranging from 800 BC all the way up to the 19th century. This finding shook the initial theory that the site was merely the remains of a group of pilgrims who perished in some sudden disaster. Theories about their deaths range from epidemic, blizzards, famine, to even divine punishment or mysterious spiritual journeys toward a sacred land. Yet to this day, no one has been able to offer a final answer as to why such different groups of people met their end in this same remote place, or why Rupkund Lake became the final destination for so many souls from land so far away. The Skull Cup and cannibal rituals of the Paleolithic in England. In Gough's Cave, hidden deep within the Somerset region of England, archaeologists have uncovered one of the most chilling and mysterious chapters of the Paleolithic era. This was a place where cannibalistic rituals took place, not for survival, but for religious and communal reasons. Beneath layers of cold earth, the remaining traces tell the story of a prehistoric group whose spiritual life was far more complex than we ever imagined. They did not simply use human bones as tools, but also crafted skulls into bowls and cups used in ceremonial rites. On the surfaces of these objects, archaeologists discovered meticulous zigzag patterns, carefully carved by hand as a form of primitive art. These markings may have served as identifiers or symbols of some sacred belief held by this ancient community. Alongside the skull cups, Gough's Cave has preserved many animal bones and rare artifacts, such as ivory objects, reindeer bones, and pieces of tools made from animal bones and teeth. Among the most notable discoveries is Cheddar Man, the nearly intact skeleton of an ancient human who lived about 10,000 years ago. He stands as a silent witness to the customs that once existed here. Everything that remains from the depths of this dark cave shows that the people of the Paleolithic era in England did not simply live by the instincts of survival. They also organized ceremonies infused with a sacred character, acting in ways that went far beyond ordinary material needs. They have left behind a mysterious legacy, causing anyone who sets foot in Gough's Cave to shudder and wonder about the deepest pages of human history, a place where the line between life and death, between faith and fear, is intertwined in every bone fragment and ancient engraving. The New Zealand storm petrel. There are birds in this world that seem to exist only in the memories of naturalists and in the pages of old books. The New Zealand storm petrel is a striking example of such a story. Once believed to have gone extinct since the mid-19th century, no one thought that the tiny silhouette of this seabird would ever return to the southern skies. For more than 150 years, the records about them survived only as descriptions. There was not a single living proof to suggest that this species still existed somewhere in the vast world. Yet, in 2003, a group of passionate birdwatchers happened upon something nobody expected. On the windswept seas of New Zealand, they encountered a flock of strange birds with distinctive black and white plumage darting nimbly among the cresting waves. The appearance of the New Zealand storm petrel through the lens of a camera sparked an unprecedented wave of excitement in the scientific community. More than just a moment of unexpected discovery, it sounded an alarm for the conservation world about the value of every small creature we once believed lost forever. But the story did not end there. Determined to learn more about the mysterious home of this bird, scientists undertook a coordinated effort combining field observation with modern technology. At last, they managed to pinpoint the nesting sites of the New Zealand storm petrel. This was a significant success, as for the first time in decades, conservationists were able to directly observe and record nests and newly hatched chicks on remote offshore islands. These discoveries opened up great hope, as the estimated number of individuals could reach into the thousands, a figure large enough to give new momentum to the revival of a bird once thought extinct. The story of the New Zealand storm petrel is not only a triumph for conservation, but also a powerful message about the resilience of life and the value of faith in nature's miracles. Thanks to timely discovery and persistent human effort, a forgotten species has truly been given another chance to soar above the vast ocean. The treasure in the ancient tomb of Monte Alban, Mexico. In 1932, at the renowned Monte Alban archaeological site in southern Mexico, a stunning discovery was made when archaeologist Alonso Caso and his colleagues unexpectedly unearthed a secret tomb that held more than 400 precious artifacts. This treasure trove astonished the international archaeological community with the diversity and unprecedented sophistication of the relics inside, from objects crafted out of jaguar bone, sparkling crystal, to pure gold, rare jade, and countless unique pieces of jewelry and ritual offerings. Notably, the ancient tomb of Monte Alban was not merely a burial place, but was considered a sacred repository, an intersection that united the legacies of two great cultures in Central American history, the Zapotec and the Mixtec. Inside the tomb, objects were discovered that bore strong ceremonial significance, directly related to the deities governing death and rebirth in ancient indigenous beliefs. According to experts, this was a place where two civilizations converged, leaving behind evidence of the mystical faith in the endless cycle of life. Beyond just jewelry made from precious stones, gold, and silver, the treasure included many remarkable items such as jaguar bones, small crystal figurines, and jade ritual objects, all of which revealed the sacred ceremonial role of the tomb within the ancient community. Remarkably, these artifacts also show traces of two cultures that used the tomb in succession. First, the Zapotec, then the Mixtec. Each civilization left its own distinctive mark, seen both in the buried treasures and in the rituals dedicated to their principal deities. To this day, the Monte Alban treasure is not only a priceless source of information that allows researchers to reconstruct the mysterious rituals and worldview of ancient Mexico, but it also stands as a symbol of the connection between past and present, a reminder of the deep history and the unsolved mysteries of this land. The twin village of Kodinhi. Hidden amidst the peaceful countryside of Kerala, the village of Kodinhi stands out as a mystery unlike anything else in the world. If you happen to stroll along its tree-lined lanes, you cannot help but be amazed to see identical faces appearing everywhere. Kodinhi has been dubbed the twin capital of the world for its extraordinarily high rate of twin births, more than 400 pairs of twins in about 2,000 families, a figure that fascinates both scientists and visitors alike. While statistics in many countries show a twin birth rate of just about 9 per thousand births, in Kodinhi, that number is 5 times higher and continues to grow every year. This strange phenomenon has given rise to many rumors within the community. Longtime residents believe that the local water is magical, making it easier for those who drink it to have twins, or perhaps it is the unique air of this land that holds the key to such a wonder. Many families say they believe this is a blessing bestowed by the gods, a gift for the sincerity and unity of the village's people. However, all of these beliefs remain as word-of-mouth traditions, while scientists suggest there may be a genetic factor or some environmental influence that has never been recorded before. Although numerous international studies have surveyed the area, the mystery of Kaudini remains unsolved, as no significant differences have been found in the genes or nutrition of the villagers. Interestingly, it is the twins of Kaudini themselves who have helped spark the investigation into their village's mystery. It all began when a pair of twin sisters noticed that their class had as many as 8 identical pairs. Their curiosity led them to conduct a small survey by hand, which soon spread across the school and eventually throughout the village. This event ignited a surge of interest in the community, drawing in local authorities and attracting media attention, as well as experts from many countries to study, test DNA samples, and interview every household. Today, whenever you visit Kaudini, you will see a special sign right at the entrance. Welcome to the village of twins gifted by God. Not only a source of local pride, the twin children growing up here have become a symbol of wonder, unity, and mystery. Behind every identical face is a unique story, and together they form a singular symphony that ensures Kaudini will always remain a captivating destination for those who long to explore the strange and unexplained wonders of the modern world. The skeleton buried in a squatting position in Germany. In 2021, in the Brandenburg region of Germany, archaeologists, while surveying an area near a site planned for wind turbine construction, discovered an ancient grave more than 4,000 years old, dating to the late Neolithic period. What surprised the experts was that the skeleton inside the grave belonged to a woman and was buried in a squatting position, with her knees drawn tightly to her chest. This is one of the oldest burial styles known in Europe, prevalent since the Neolithic period, and often referred to as burial in a flexed position. According to archaeologists, this posture may evoke the closed circle of human life, from birth to returning to the earth, reflecting profound ancient beliefs about life and death. Another special feature is that this woman's burial pit is much larger than typical graves from the same era. Although no grave goods were found alongside her, the grave itself was carefully lined with large stones, arranged neatly around the perimeter. This suggests that the living bestowed a particular respect upon the deceased. The meticulous placement of the stone lining indicates that this was not just an ordinary resting place, but also held important spiritual meaning for the community at that time. Currently, the woman's bones and teeth are being subjected to isotope analysis and DNA testing to determine her exact age, diet, and living environment. Although many mysteries still surround her identity and role, this discovery has helped scientists better understand burial customs, beliefs, and daily life of Neolithic communities in Central Europe. It also stands as evidence of the diversity and depth of ancient cultures, where each new finding opens another fascinating and unexpected chapter of history for today's generation. The mysterious sacrificial site in China. In 2021, the international archaeological community was shaken by news of new discoveries at the Sangxingdui site in Sichuan province, a place long renowned as one of the most enigmatic centers of ancient Chinese civilization. After many years of research, scientists unearthed 6 large sacrificial pits containing hundreds of precious artifacts, among which the most remarkable were golden masks, giant bronze statues, and tools crafted from jade, along with many other exquisitely carved rare objects. These sacrificial pits appear to have been the setting for solemn and mysterious rituals of the ancient Shu people, as all the artifacts were buried with great care and clear intent. The golden masks and large bronze statues, with their sharply defined carvings, reveal that the metalworking and sculpting skills of the ancients had reached extraordinary heights, even surpassing the standards of their era. More than mere ritual items, these artifacts also reflect beliefs about deities and power, as well as the special status of the priestly class within the spiritual life of the ancient Shu community. In addition, the discovery of numerous jade tools and statues with unusual forms has raised further questions about religious beliefs, the relationship between humans and the divine, and secrets still buried deep beneath the soil of Sichuan. Experts have noted that these sacrificial pits stand as evidence of a highly developed society, where art, metalworking, and gemstone crafting were combined with sacred rituals, creating a culture rich in mythology that, to this day, the modern world has yet to fully unravel. The discoveries at Sangsingdui have not only provided archaeologists with new clues about the strange sacrificial customs of the ancients, but have also opened the door to countless unsolved mysteries surrounding a brilliant civilization that once flourished in the Sichuan Valley, a place where every excavated artifact is a fascinating story from humanity's distant past. The Goatman. Deep within the dense forests of Maryland, a bizarre legend has endured for decades, planting an unforgettable sense of dread in the hearts of local residents. The story of the Goatman began in the 1930s, when a series of strange disappearances of pets took place, sparking a wave of fear throughout the community. No one could explain why familiar dogs and cats suddenly vanished, or why some were found with gruesome injuries that no ordinary wild animal could inflict. Amid this growing anxiety, the shadow of a creature both familiar and strange began to form in people's minds: the Goatman. According to the stories handed down, the Goatman is not merely a monster. Its form is a blend of human and goat, with a face that resembles a person but a body covered in hair, two spindly legs ending in hooves, and eyes that shine brightly in the darkness. Residents say they have seen this creature lurking behind the trees, moving slowly yet threateningly, and sometimes emitting a chilling screech that echoes from afar. These descriptions have frightened not only children, but even the most seasoned adults. Over the years, the legend of the Goatman has grown ever more dramatic, with some claiming its true origin lies in a laboratory disaster. Some stories tell of a scientist named Stephen Fletcher at the nearby Beltsville Agricultural Research Center, who supposedly conducted secret experiments on animals. According to the rumors, an unforeseen accident transformed him into a half-human, half-goat creature, never to return to his original form. From that moment, the Goatman was said to begin appearing in the forests, becoming ever more ferocious and mysterious. Such stories have painted a picture of a land that is not only wild, but also hides the dark secrets of science. But the Goatman's legend did not remain local for long. It soon spread and became an inseparable part of American folklore. People whisper that this creature can mimic human voices to lure victims deeper into the woods, or even open doors and use crude tools to hunt its prey. These tales, rich with spiritual overtones, have helped create the mysterious landscape of Maryland, a place where people are both terrified and fascinated by stories of the Goatman. For many generations of Maryland residents, the Goatman is more than just a creature of the imagination. It is a reminder that mysteries may exist alongside the modern world. Even today, although no one has ever proved whether the Goatman truly exists or is simply a product of fear and imagination, the legend remains alive, inspiring stories around the campfire, appearing in horror films, and fueling adventures in search of traces of mysterious creatures across America. The Cursed Amethyst. The amethyst gemstone, known as the Cursed Stone, has been entwined with a string of chilling tales for more than a century. Originating in India during the turmoil of the 1857 uprising, this precious stone once rested on the sacred altar of the god Indra. However, after it was stolen and brought to England by a cavalry officer, a series of tragedies seemed to begin from that moment on. Not long after it became a private possession, everyone associated with the amethyst suffered misfortune, failure, and even mysterious illnesses, madness, and unexplained deaths. Though it changed hands many times, from the officer to his son and then to friends, no one could escape the inexplicable hauntings that the stone brought. The story spread, turning it into a dangerous treasure that everyone wanted to avoid. Eventually, to prevent further tragedy, one owner decided to lock the amethyst away in a bank vault, where it lay undisturbed for many years, before finally being handed over to the Natural History Museum in London, kept separated from the outside world. To this day, experts have yet to explain the real reason behind the strange chain of disasters, and most scientists believe that the curse is nothing more than a series of uncanny coincidences. Nevertheless, whether one believes it or not, the amethyst remains carefully guarded in the museum's treasury, becoming one of the most famous gemstones in England, attracting endless rumors and public curiosity through the generations. And every time the amethyst is mentioned, people cannot help but shudder, thinking of the mysterious tragedies it is said to have brought. The stone village of Skara Brae. Nestled along the wild coastline of the Orkney Islands, the stone village of Skara Brae stands as a vivid testament to the skill and mystery of prehistoric Europeans. Nearly 2 centuries ago, a fierce storm swept through this land, tearing away the thick layers of earth to reveal the ancient stone walls that had long been buried by time. This unexpected event marked the beginning of an unprecedented journey of discovery, leading archaeologists from one amazement to another as they realized they were standing before a rare, nearly intact Neolithic settlement. After the storm of 1850, Skara Brae became the center of attention, but it was not until 1925 that a formal excavation was conducted. The small stone houses, low domed roofs, thick walls, and cleverly interconnected rooms via narrow passageways demonstrated the remarkable building skills of ancient people. Over more than 600 years of existence, the residents here established a sustainable community, living right by the cold seashore in some of the harshest conditions imaginable. They left evidence of a sophisticated wastewater system, proving they had long understood how to control their living environment. Small water tanks, channels, and drainage systems buried deep underground are proof of their ingenuity, enhancing the quality of life in prehistoric times. But that is not all. Inside each house, archaeologists have found countless stone tools, bones, ivory artifacts, as well as everyday items such as bowls, beads, knives, and even intricately carved stone slabs. Everything remains almost exactly in place, as if the people of Skara Brae had just stepped out and might return at any moment. All of this has been preserved nearly intact by the thick layers of sand that covered the site for millennia, giving the modern world a Pompeii of Scotland at the heart of Orkney. Yet, what makes Skara Brae even more mysterious and fascinating is the question of the sudden disappearance of the people who once made this village their home. There is no sign of plague, war, or major natural disaster. Everything simply stopped, as if time itself stood still. The stone houses continue to challenge our imagination about the fate of a community that survived for centuries amid the cold winds, only to vanish without a trace, leaving behind an eternal legacy on this land of mist and legend. The Burnt City of Iran. The Burnt City of Iran is a mystery located near Zabul, in a land that is now arid but was once among the most prosperous centers during the Bronze Age. Spanning an area of over 200 hectares, it is large enough to have been one of the greatest ancient urban settlements, not only of Iran, but of the entire Middle East. What remains above the cracked earth today are only ruined vestiges, but buried beneath lies a history filled with countless enigmas that archaeologists still cannot unravel. According to ancient legends, this city was once the brilliant capital of a lost civilization. Many believe it is linked to Aratta, the legendary city that appears in Sumerian and Mesopotamian texts. Aratta is described as a remote land, famed for its abundance of wealth, gold, and jewels, and for its immense temple made of lapis lazuli to honor the great goddess Inanna. While these stories are steeped in myth, archaeological excavations have yielded real discoveries, showing that this city was once a bustling trade hub. Merchants from Mesopotamia, Central Asia, and the Indus Valley met here, exchanging goods and forming one of the earliest transcontinental trade networks in history. But the fate of this enigmatic city was not limited to its prosperity. Over more than a millennium of existence, the city endured at least 3 great fires. The mysterious flames repeatedly consumed it, but each time, its inhabitants returned to rebuild atop the old ruins. By 1800 BC, a final blaze left the city in permanent ruins, forcing its people to abandon their homeland and leaving behind a great question for posterity. To this day, the reasons for those repeated fires remain unresolved. Not only remarkable for its scale and history, the burnt city astonishes archaeologists with strange discoveries from beneath the earth. Researchers have excavated more than 12,200 ancient graves here, each containing its own secrets. Among them is the grave of a woman who died more than 4 millennia ago, buried with a bronze mirror and, most notably, an artificial eye, a remarkable testament to the craftsmanship and spiritual beliefs of the ancients. Every grave and every artifact found opens another window into the lives, faiths, and destinies of the people who once lived on this land of fire. To this day, the burnt city remains one of the Middle East's greatest mysteries, captivating lovers of history and discovery with its strange beauty, unanswered stories, and the silent ruins lying beneath the blazing sun of the Iranian desert. Ice Age murals in the Amazon rainforest. Amidst the wild Amazon jungle, archaeologists have discovered one of the greatest ancient artistic treasures of humanity. Lining sheer, rugged cliffs are tens of thousands of mysterious murals created by prehistoric artists living in South America at the end of the Ice Age. These paintings are not simply artistic marks, but vivid accounts of a world that vanished long ago. A world where people lived side by side with giant creatures, including ground sloths, mammoths, prehistoric horses, thick-shelled turtles, and countless species of large birds that have since gone extinct. Standing before these murals, it is easy to picture the scene more than 12,000 years ago, when the first hunting tribes moved into the vast Amazon region. Through skilled hands and rich imagination, prehistoric people used red pigment, extracted from natural minerals, to record every aspect of daily life. Scenes of hunting, fighting wild beasts, and images of entire communities gathering around their livestock and campfires. On the rock surfaces, they even portrayed extraordinary moments, such as mammoth hunts, courageous people facing giant sloths, and ancient rituals connected with beliefs and faith in the spirits of the deep forest. What astonishes researchers is not only the massive scale of these paintings, but also the depth of the message that prehistoric people left behind. Beneath the simple yet forceful strokes, one can feel humanity's bond with nature, both the fear and the reverence for the magnificent creatures that once ruled these lands. Scientists also realize that, along with the growth of their art, ancient Amazonians gradually adapted to their harsh environment, learning to hunt, farm, make tools, and build stable communities, all of which come vividly to life on the murals. These discoveries have completely changed our understanding of the formation and development of Amazonian civilization. The murals do not just open a window to the past, they also help to decode the mysteries surrounding the appearance and disappearance of the giant animals, as well as the extraordinary journey of prehistoric people adapting to drastic changes in climate. It could be said that, deep in the dense Amazon jungle, the cliffs covered in paintings have quietly preserved the story of a golden age, where people, nature, and giant beasts coexisted, and together faced the challenges of survival in a world that was both strange and full of mystery. Face down burials to ward off vampires and plagues in Switzerland. For centuries, Europeans lived under the unrelenting shadow of death and the supernatural, especially during periods when devastating epidemics swept through the continent. In Switzerland, anthropologists and archaeologists have uncovered a number of truly unusual graves, where the bodies of the deceased were buried face down in the earth, sometimes weighed down with stones or subjected to post-burial mutilation. These details reveal a worldview steeped in mystery and fear, where the line between life and death seemed dangerously thin. These graves date from the Middle Ages through to the modern era, with a particular concentration during times of epidemic, such as the Black Death. In many cases, the bodies were deliberately placed face down as a ritual meant to prevent vampires or undead beings from rising from their graves to haunt the living. Beyond this, many graves show evidence of heavy objects being placed atop the corpse, or of the body being mutilated, beheaded, bound at the hands and feet, or staked through the chest. These were traditional preventive measures, rooted in the belief that those who died in turmoil, those who had committed crimes, or those suspected of carrying a curse would return to spread disaster. Researchers have observed that, during periods of epidemic, beliefs in revenants, vampires, or divine punishment upon sinful communities became even more deeply entrenched. When death struck suddenly and in great numbers, beyond all explanation, people clung ever more tightly to strange rituals in the hope of averting further catastrophe. Some experts even suggest that burying the dead face down or weighing down the corpse was sometimes intended as punishment for transgressions, a symbol of eternal repentance or shame, ensuring that the soul of the deceased could never return. Excavations at ancient cemeteries in Switzerland show that there were periods when dozens of such graves appeared in succession, especially during outbreaks of the plague that ravaged Europe. Most of the remains bear unmistakable marks of deliberate acts, not the result of natural causes. Archaeologists have also found objects such as knives, stones, or purses placed in graves, possibly intended to distract the souls of the dead or drive away evil spirits. Today, as epidemic disease is no longer a constant specter, these rituals remind us of a time when invisible fears could dominate an entire society, forcing people to take extreme measures in an attempt to protect their communities from what they could not control. And each face-down grave, each trace of those strange rituals, stands as a vivid testament to the collective psyche and the deep belief in the supernatural world that shaped our ancestors. An unexpected treasure in America. On a peaceful afternoon in Plymouth, a woman unexpectedly embarked on a journey of discovery that no one could have foreseen. As her shovel struck the earth in her backyard, the sound of metal caused her to stop. Digging more carefully, she uncovered an ancient sword, covered in dust and lying beneath the soil for many years. After examination, the sword was identified as an artifact from the 19th century, crafted by a local blacksmith more than 150 years ago. But that first discovery only fueled her curiosity. She began to expand her digging around the garden, and with every shovelful of earth, more buried secrets came to light. Gradually, a series of artifacts emerged. Ancient arrowheads, fossilized remains of extinct animals, and even stone tools once belonging to prehistoric people. Each of these relics added another layer of history to the small garden, transforming it into a rare archaeological treasure trove in the heart of modern America. Today, the owner of this unique garden hopes her discoveries will soon be displayed at the local museum, allowing others the chance to admire them and imagine the stories each object carries. Perhaps, thanks to her passion for exploration, a forgotten chapter of history has been awakened by a single moment of chance, reminding us that even in everyday life, the mysteries of the past are waiting to be uncovered, sometimes right beneath our feet. Fossils in the Golden Sphere. On the windswept beaches of Yorkshire, a strange phenomenon has drawn the attention not only of paleontologists, but also of those with a passion for seeking out ancient treasures. Scattered along the shore are small golden spheres, gleaming as if coated in a rare precious metal. In truth, these are nodules of pyrite, what locals commonly call fool's gold. At first glance, they may seem like ordinary stones, but hidden inside are the fossilized remains of marine creatures from the Jurassic period, dating back hundreds of millions of years. These spheres are formed from pyrite, a mineral created when iron and sulfur crystallize under unique conditions, giving the surface a golden shine. The wonder lies in the fact that, within each sphere, one often finds traces of ancient marine life that have turned to stone, ammonites, belemnites, and other hard-shelled animals that once lived on the floor of an ancient sea. When the shells of these creatures were buried in iron-rich mud, over millions of years they gradually transformed into minerals, producing stunning fossils perfectly preserved inside the golden shell. The discovery of these fossils brings not only excitement to archaeologists and collectors, but also helps to unravel the evolutionary history of Jurassic marine life. Thanks to the remarkable preservation of these specimens in pyrite, researchers are able to examine in detail the structure of each species, from the spiral shape of the shells to the rare remains of soft tissue. This helps reconstruct the ancient ocean world of Yorkshire some 185 million years ago, when the region lay deep beneath the sea. Today, these fossil-filled golden spheres are no longer a rarity for people in England, especially for those with a love of discovery. On beaches like Whitby and Robin Hood's Bay, many have found these small treasures with just a sharp eye and a little luck. Each new find brings more light to the grand panorama of Earth's distant past, showing that even in seemingly lifeless objects, there are stories spanning millions of years, stories that we are only just beginning to uncover. The Barabar Caves. Beneath the surface of India, the Barabar Cave Complex stands as an immortal witness to the Maurya era, a place where the past seems preserved in every stone wall. These caves are considered the oldest in the country, formed in the 3rd century BCE, during the height of the Mauryan Empire. What makes Barabar truly remarkable is not only the technique used to carve through the incredibly hard granite, but also the cave walls themselves, polished to a mirror-like sheen. This is an achievement that even today's scientists cannot fully explain. It is known as the Mauryan polish, with the dim light reflecting off the surfaces to create the sensation of stepping into a surreal world. For millennia, the mystery of how this glassy polish was created has yet to find a satisfying answer. Some researchers believe that the ancestors used diamonds, the hardest natural material on Earth, to grind the surface smooth. Others suggest a combination of abrasive materials and closely guarded techniques handed down over generations. Yet, no one knows exactly how they managed to achieve such a mirror effect deep within the heart of solid rock. But the technical mysteries are only one part of the greater story of Barabar. Many legends tell that these caves once served as a place of retreat for the Ajivikas, an enigmatic religious sect that vanished from India's historical record. According to rumors, within these caves there exist hidden doors, secret passages leading to deep chambers or undiscovered treasures. Archaeologists believe that these doors may simply have been part of ancient rituals, or perhaps just part of the architectural design meant to serve meditation and silence within a separate world. The clearest traces that remain today are the stone inscriptions left by King Ashoka, one of the greatest emperors in Indian history. During his reign, Buddhism spread widely across the subcontinent, but he also supported other faiths, including the Ajivikas. The ancient scripts carved on the walls inside Sudama Cave not only help later generations understand a brilliant historical period, but also demonstrate the religious tolerance of a great king. Over time, Barabar has managed to preserve its wild, mysterious beauty, much as it was at the very beginning. Today, it draws those passionate about archaeology and history, or anyone simply seeking the sensation of stepping into a world of unresolved mysteries. As sunlight filters through the entrance and shines onto the polished stone walls, one can almost sense the breath of the past still echoing somewhere, waiting for the last secret to finally be revealed. Magnetic Hill. Situated amid the wild plateau of Ladakh, Magnetic Hill has long been a place that leaves every visitor astonished by a phenomenon that seems to defy all the laws of nature. A small road winds through barren mountain ranges, winds blowing fiercely, and nothing seems particularly unusual until you try stopping your vehicle and leaving it in neutral. Then, something strange happens. The car begins to roll uphill. With no visible force, the wheels move smoothly along the road, as if pulled by an invisible hand, producing a sensation so unbelievable that many believe they have witnessed a miracle. Locals have always believed that Magnetic Hill is where the boundary between the human world and the spiritual realm becomes blurred. According to legend, this slope is the road to heaven. Only those who are truly worthy are chosen by the gods and pulled up from the earth. Many stories have been told of times when vehicles, even entire groups of people, were suddenly pulled up the hill without anyone able to explain why. That sense of suspense and curiosity draws visitors from far and wide, even those who have only heard the stories, to experience it for themselves. Yet scientists have never stopped trying to unravel this puzzling phenomenon. At first, many believed the hill possessed an unusually strong magnetic field, powerful enough to move vehicles against the normal rules of physics. But subsequent measurements showed the opposite. The magnetic readings here are perfectly normal, even lower than in many other places. The truth lies in the landscape. The hill and the road are arranged in such a way that they create a sophisticated optical illusion. The human eye is tricked by a hidden horizon, and the contrast between the mountainside and the road, making a steep slope appear flat and a gentle decline appear as an uphill climb. As a result, cars seem to be rolling upward, but are actually moving downhill. Even so, not everyone is ready to accept the scientific explanation. Magnetic Hill retains its own indescribable aura of mystery, drawing those with a love of adventure to test their luck and experience what feels like stepping into a space that is completely separate from reality. It is not only a famous landmark surrounded by majestic mountains, but also a place for stories with no definitive ending, a site where the line between science and legend remains unclear. It is this very sense of the unknown that makes Magnetic Hill an unmissable stop for anyone who yearns for adventure and the thrill of encountering mysteries still unexplained on this planet. Ritual dog burials in Catalonia. In the region of Catalonia, Spain, archaeologists have uncovered a moving and mysterious story about the relationship between humans and dogs from ancient times. Deep underground, in what was once home to Neolithic communities, they found a series of special graves, places of rest not only for humans, but also for dogs carefully buried beside their owners. These graves date back as far as 4,200 years, showing that the tradition of burying dogs with their masters has existed for a very long time in human history. What especially touched the researchers was the fact that most of the dogs found were very young. In many cases, the puppies had died before reaching even 1 year of age. Experts believe that these young dogs may have been chosen as sacrificial offerings in spiritual ceremonies, an essential part of the ancient community's beliefs. Yet, the presence of dogs in the graves is not only evidence of religious or mythical meaning, but also reflects their important place in everyday human life. This became even clearer when scientists conducted genetic and chemical analysis on the excavated dog bones. The results showed that the dogs' diets were almost identical to those of the people of the time. They were fed not just scraps, but shared the same food, from grains to meat and other daily fare. This proves that a strong bond existed between humans and dogs, a relationship where every meal was a testament to companionship, transcending the line between human and animal. 100 years later, the custom gradually changed. Graves continued to record the burial of dogs with their masters, but no longer showed signs of sacrifice. By then, dogs had become true members of the family, laid to rest with their owners after both had died. Looking back, the tradition of dog burial in Catalonia not only reveals the spiritual beliefs of the ancients, but also tells a story of friendship, loyalty, and a bond that modern people still cherish today. Each grave is a slice of time, preserving stories that, if listened to closely, reveal the depth of feeling between people and the faithful animals that walked beside them throughout their lives. Did humans and dinosaurs ever live together? The question of whether humans and dinosaurs ever coexisted on Earth has long been a topic of heated debate, sparking the imagination of generations. While the image of a prehistoric person riding on the back of a dinosaur usually only appears in movies or comic books, the latest scientific discoveries have suggested a completely different scenario. It is possible that our ancient ancestors really did live at the same time as these gigantic creatures. According to recent studies by paleontologists at the University of Bristol, by analyzing thousands of fossil samples, scientists have found that the group of placental mammals, including humans, dogs, cats, and many other modern animals, originated during the age when dinosaurs still ruled the planet. These animals appear to have existed alongside dinosaurs for much longer than we had previously imagined. 3 important groups, including primates, rabbits, and carnivores such as dogs and cats, all appeared while dinosaurs had not yet gone extinct. This finding not only broadens our understanding of evolution, but also rekindles old theories about the intersection of 2 worlds, humankind and dinosaurs. However, evidence for such coexistence is not limited to genetic analysis. Along a river in Texas, discoveries of fossilized footprints have sparked lively debate within the scientific community. There, researchers found large dinosaur tracks right next to imprints that, at first glance, look remarkably similar to human footprints. This image immediately drew attention, as it hinted at the possibility that primitive humans and dinosaurs once walked together on land that has now turned to stone. Yet, most mainstream scientists believe this is a misinterpretation. They explain that the tracks are actually those of a 2-legged dinosaur, and that the human-like prints are the result of natural erosion or complex geological processes, not direct evidence that prehistoric humans existed alongside dinosaurs. Though there is still no final answer, the story of the strange footprints in Texas and research into the origins of placental mammals continue to stir curiosity. It reminds us that the history of human evolution still contains many blank spots, and that mysteries from our distant past are still waiting to be solved. Did our earliest ancestors ever walk the earth with the largest creatures to have ever lived? Or is it all simply a strange coincidence of nature and stories left unfinished? Certainly, these debates will continue, inspiring generations of scientists and those passionate about uncovering the world's greatest mysteries. The Evans Culture Mounds. On the outskirts of Monroe, Louisiana, The archaeological site of the Evans culture is one of the oldest and most mysterious in America. Amid the flat land, 11 massive mounds rise like silent sentinels, connected by sturdy earth embankments and forming a majestic complex that has stood for more than 5,400 years. All that remains here are the traces of a once thriving civilization, the secrets of which modern science has yet to fully uncover. Stepping into this site, it is hard to imagine that it was the hunters and gatherers of the Evans culture who joined together to build such monumental structures. For 7 centuries, over many generations, they toiled endlessly, piling up layer upon layer of earth and stone, gradually creating mounds up to 25 feet high, standing tall in the Louisiana plain. This achievement predates even the Egyptian pyramids or Stonehenge, proving that even the most seemingly simple communities could produce accomplishments far ahead of their time. What troubles archaeologists most is the true purpose of these mounds. Excavations have revealed numerous artifacts, stone beads, bone tools, fish hooks, and even antler used to sharpen stone blades. Each small object raises more questions than it answers. Were the mounds burial places for important figures? Were they spiritual centers, where communities gathered to pray and make offerings to the gods? Or perhaps they were defensive works, fortresses built to protect inhabitants from outside threats? Whatever the theory, no one really knows why the Evans people spent centuries piling up these massive earthworks in such a remote place. Today, the mounds still stand, silently witnessing all the changes that have swept through Louisiana. They serve as a reminder that in the shadows of the past, countless mysteries remain unsolved, and that every culture, large or small, leaves behind indelible marks on humanity's quest to understand its own origins. The San Miguel Ixan site. Located in the western region of Mexico, the San Miguel Ixan site has long been a symbol of a mysterious civilization that existed more than 3,000 years ago. The remaining ruins here leave a strong impression on anyone who visits, thanks to the extraordinary construction techniques left behind by ancient people. Massive stone slabs are cut perfectly, with sharp, straight edges so precise that many today still marvel, questioning whether they were truly created by hand and primitive tools, or if they are the result of a technology modern humanity has yet to imagine. At its height, San Miguel Ixan was once a brilliant center, a hub of commerce where cultures from the central highlands to the far west of Mexico converged. The bustling city, with its unique architecture and layers of stone stacked to form solid walls, radiated an enduring sense of strength and permanence. Yet, at the peak of its vibrancy, the site suddenly fell into desolation. The inhabitants vanished, and the magnificent structures were left behind to time. And to this day, no one knows for sure what caused such a prosperous city to be abandoned without a trace. Centuries later, the history of San Miguel Ixan was rewritten by people from Europe. When the Spanish arrived, they recognized the durability of the ancient stones and dismantled portions of the walls to build churches and new structures right in the heart of the modern town. Some of these megalithic stones, with their delicate carvings, now form the foundations of ancient churches, allowing the past and present to blend together in every stone and wall. Today, San Miguel Ixan remains an endless topic for archaeologists and those passionate about unraveling the mysteries of the past. No matter how much time passes, the city's steadfast stones silently challenge the limits of human understanding, serving as a reminder that behind every relic lie countless untold stories waiting to be discovered and understood. The submerged city of Nagarjunakonda. Amid the lush valley of Andhra Pradesh, there was once an ancient city known as Nagarjunakonda, a brilliant Buddhist center of the 4th century. Named after the legendary philosopher Nagarjuna, this city once drew monks, scholars, and Buddhist devotees from far and wide to seek wisdom, discuss philosophy, and admire art. Whitewashed stupas, statues of the Buddha, and distinctive architecture transformed this place into one of the most significant cultural and spiritual gathering spots in ancient India. Over time, Nagarjunakonda retained its status as a Buddhist center of the Deccan region, preserving countless traces of its golden eras. However, by the mid-20th century, when the government decided to construct a major dam to boost the economy, the entire Nagarjunakonda Valley was submerged underwater. The ancient city, and its millennia-old relics slowly disappeared beneath the surface of the artificial lake, leaving behind deep regret for archaeologists and local residents. Nonetheless, before the water could swallow the site completely, a large-scale rescue mission was launched. Hundreds of Buddha statues, stupas, reliefs, and many other precious artifacts were carefully relocated by archaeologists, brick by brick, to the surrounding high hills. Each statue and fragment of the past was meticulously arranged to create a unique open-air museum where what remains of Nagarjunakonda is preserved and retold for future generations. By 1966, a major museum was built atop a hill, becoming the new home for these Buddhist treasures rescued from the floodwaters of history. Yet Nagarjunakonda's fame is not only due to its relics, but also to the legendary name associated with this land, Nagarjuna. He was one of the most important thinkers of Mahayana Buddhism, leaving a profound mark on its philosophy and view of the universe and human life. Still, much about the true life of Nagarjuna remains a mystery. Some legends claim he lived for 600 years, surpassing all ordinary human limits, and that he was the founder of the Middle Way school and helped spread Buddhism throughout Asia. The reality of his life is likely to remain a subject of endless debate among scholars, so that what belongs to Nagarjunakonda will always blend into the mists of history and legend. The Area 51 of India. Deep within the wild mountain ranges of the Himalayas, Konkala Pass is not only a tense battleground between India and China, but also the center of countless unsolved mysterious tales. Often compared to Area 51 of Asia, Konkala is associated with a string of rumors about supernatural events, from reports of UFOs appearing in the sky to unidentified flying objects suddenly vanishing among the clouds. Many pilots flying over the region have reported that their instruments mysteriously lost signal for no apparent reason, fueling suspicion of some unknown force or energy at work here. The mysteries do not end there. Many believe that deep beneath Konkala's frozen ground is a secret base for extraterrestrials, a place where beings from outer space hide and conduct unknown activities. Locals, border guards, and travelers have all shared stories of encountering the shadowy form of a strange robot moving quietly along the slopes, or of mysterious beams of light that appear suddenly and disappear in an instant. The intrigue only heightened when research groups, using satellite imagery on Google Earth, discovered traces that looked like secret caves, possibly entrances and exits for alien beings or underground bases. The enigma of Konkala becomes even more chilling when intertwined with tragic historic remnants. In 1962, this area was the scene of fierce battles between Indian and Chinese armies. Hundreds of Indian soldiers fell, and ever since, local legends have held that their spirits quietly guard the border, protecting the land from all strange forces, including those from beyond Earth. The stories of fallen soldiers only add to the sacred and mysterious atmosphere, making Konkala a place that people both fear and are drawn to whenever its name is mentioned. Today, Konkala Pass remains a restricted area for civilians, which only fuels more theories about what is being concealed behind the thick veil of mist. Strange phenomena are continuously reported, yet no one has been able to verify the truth behind them. Is this place simply a frontier between two great powers, or is it a gateway connecting our world to things beyond imagination? The answer still lies somewhere in these icy mountains, awaiting the footsteps of courageous explorers to uncover. Secret hotel rooms and hidden spaces. With the rise of social media, especially the explosion of TikTok, stories about secret rooms and hidden spaces in hotels and homes across America have suddenly become a viral topic. More and more videos capture the moment someone discovers a secret room, a hidden passage, or even a tiny apartment behind a bathroom mirror or beneath a familiar wooden floor, drawing millions of views and fueling a new trend: the hunt for hidden secrets inside modern buildings. Some people have stumbled upon an oddly raised patch of carpet, pulled it back, and found a wooden plank covering an entrance to an underground room. Others, sensing an inexplicable draft behind the bathroom mirror, dared to remove it, only to be stunned by a vast, forgotten space, complete with the remains of old furniture, toilets, water bottles, and discarded belongings, producing a feeling equal parts eerie and thrilling. While most of these secret rooms are not linked to the kinds of horror stories seen in the movies, the experience of stepping into a space that has been concealed or abandoned for years always brings a rush of excitement. The rapid spread of these stories has turned the search for secret spaces into a favorite pastime for many young people. These chance discoveries have opened up a hidden world within buildings that once seemed all too familiar, sparking imaginations with thoughts of mysteries waiting to be uncovered in the heart of modern life. For many, the discovery of these secret rooms is not just about finding a physical space, it's also a journey to rediscover a sense of adventure, anticipation, and childlike wonder that still lingers amid the rush of modern society. Hall's Hill Lookout. Tucked away on Bainbridge Island, just a short distance from bustling Seattle, Hall's Hill Lookout offers an atmosphere completely detached from the modern world outside. Setting foot in this place, anyone will feel as if they've entered another dimension, where all sounds seem to soften and a rare sense of peace prevails. The most striking feature at Hall's Hill Lookout is the mysterious Labyrinth Garden, an artwork inspired by the great cathedrals of medieval France, especially the patterns and architecture of the 13th century. The labyrinth here is not just a winding stone path, but a living symbol, connecting the cultural values of the Pacific Northwest's native peoples with ancient astronomical knowledge. Every circle, every turn is crafted with care, each holding deep meaning about the cycles of the moon, the progression of the seasons, and humanity's faith in the vast universe. Scattered throughout the garden are small statues, intricately carved stones, and a massive Buddhist prayer wheel, all blending together to create an atmosphere of sacredness rarely found elsewhere. This place is more than just a physical labyrinth. It is designed as a journey inward. As you enter the maze, you begin a personal pilgrimage, first turning inward for reflection and self-discovery, then moving outward as if reborn, ready to face the world with a fresh perspective. At the center, each visitor can pause to listen to the breath of the earth, immerse in a moment of meditation, and fully experience the connection between body, mind, and the vast surrounding space. Hall's Hill Lookout is not just a place to enjoy the view or appreciate art, it is a destination for anyone seeking balance and peace in life. The harmonious blend of art, nature, and spirituality here makes everyone feel as though they have traveled through time, returning to their roots, and when leaving, they find it hard to let go of the tranquility that lingers in their heart. The Bermuda Triangle of Birds. Hidden in the misty valley of Assam, the village of Jatinga is famous throughout India for a bizarre natural phenomenon that science has yet to fully explain. Every year, from September to November, as night falls and thick fog rolls in, the village seems to enter another world. At just this time, countless birds, from both local species and migratory flocks, unexpectedly leave their nests and plunge into houses, trees, or any light source they see along the village lanes. By morning, the pathways are littered with the bodies of hundreds of birds, creating a haunting and heartbreaking sight for anyone who witnesses it. This strange suicide phenomenon has haunted Jatinga for over a century, spreading anxiety among the local people. In the beginning, the native Naga tribes believed that the nights of falling birds were an omen of evil, a sign of demons, or an ancient curse descending on the village. The fear was so great that at times the entire community left to escape the shadow of the bird tragedy. Later, however, when new settlers arrived, they saw things differently. For them, the ill-fated birds became a gift from the sky, a precious food source during the hard months of the rainy season. Gradually, Jatinga became less a place of fear and more a topic of fascination across India, attracting scientists, biologists, and explorers curious about nature's strangest mysteries. Many theories have been proposed to explain this odd event. Scientists believe that the narrow valley, dense fog, and unique weather conditions disrupt the magnetic or electric fields, interfering with the birds' nighttime navigation. Artificial lights, like campfires and electric lamps, further confuse the birds, causing them to panic and fly blindly into obstacles. Other researchers highlight natural factors, suggesting that changes in air pressure, humidity, or even underground electrical currents may impact the birds' nervous systems and drive their uncontrollable behavior. Even so, many mysteries remain unsolved, and the legend of the cursed falling birds continues to live on in Jatinga as an inseparable part of the land. Today, Jatinga is both a place of fascination and a gold mine for researchers and adventurous travelers. The falling birds phenomenon not only reflects the complexity of nature, but also serves as proof that science and spirituality often travel side by side in our quest to understand the world. The story of this Bermuda Triangle of birds will surely continue to spark curiosity for generations, until humanity finally unlocks the secrets behind Jatinga's mysterious nighttime birdfalls. The Peebles Hoard in Scotland. Amid the tranquil landscapes of the Scottish countryside, a group of young archaeology enthusiasts accidentally made one of the most sensational discoveries in British history. What began as a fun picnic, with metal detectors in hand on a field near the small town of Peebles, turned historic when the telltale signal deep beneath the ground marked the beginning of a Bronze Age treasure trove almost no one had ever seen. After unearthing the first bronze artifact buried nearly 60 centimeters below the surface, the group realized they might have struck extraordinary luck. They immediately contacted a team of professional archaeologists to carry out a full excavation. The dig lasted nearly a month, yielding results beyond all expectations. Layer by layer, the earth revealed a hoard preserved almost perfectly for 3,000 years, from an ancient sword still in its scabbard, chariot wheels and axles, to a complete set of horse harnesses, all drawing gasps of amazement. Of special note was a small decorative harness fitting, a unique rattling mask, identified as the only such artifact ever found in Scotland and just the third discovered in the entire United Kingdom. Most astonishing of all, the soil conditions had preserved not only the metal, but also wood and leather, materials that usually rot away with time. This miraculous preservation has allowed present-day generations to fully admire a treasure that has truly stood the test of time. The material value of these artifacts is impossible to measure, but their significance to the history and ancient art of Scotland is undeniable. From the leather fragments of the harness to the intricately carved details, the Peebles Hoard reveals glimpses of the life, artistry, and craftsmanship of ancient people. And yet, the greatest mystery remains. Who buried this treasure in the quiet field? Why were such valuable items hidden underground? And who were their true owners? This very sense of enigma has made the Peebles Hoard not only a material legacy, but also a compelling story, one that inspires many to keep searching for traces of ancient history on the land of Scotland. The most haunted city in India. Hidden at the foot of the ancient Aravalli Range, Bangor Fort is a place where even the bright sunlight of Rajasthan cannot dispel the overwhelming sense of unease that settles over anyone who sets foot here. Built in the 17th century under the Mughal dynasty, this site was once a bustling town with lively markets, grand palaces, and thousands of residents. Yet, in the blink of an eye, the entire area became a haunted city, cold and abandoned, with moss-covered stone walls, collapsed domes, and winding, desolate passageways. Two famous legends are forever entwined with Bangor, both enough to send shivers down anyone's spine. One tells of a mysterious ascetic who lived in seclusion at the edge of the fort. He agreed to let the royal court build the fortress, but only on the condition that its shadow would never fall upon his dwelling. When careless architects broke this promise, the holy man became enraged and uttered a curse that the city would never thrive. From that moment, life here began to fade and misfortune never ceased. The second legend is even more haunting, revolving around the beautiful Princess Ratnavati, whose beauty was celebrated throughout the region. A powerful sorcerer fell hopelessly in love with her and tried to use magic to harm her, but his plot was discovered and he perished under the very power he had conjured. Before dying, the sorcerer cursed Bangor so that it would never know peace, dooming its people to misfortune and ensuring that sooner or later all would be forced to abandon their home. Since then, Bangor Fort has exuded an atmosphere of gloom and dread, attracting explorers, ghost hunters, and paranormal researchers alike. Many visitors report feeling chills, hearing distant whispers carried on the wind, glimpsing fleeting figures behind crumbling walls, or suddenly sensing an eerie cold despite the blazing sun. The Archaeological Survey of India has even posted a rare ban on entering the fort after sunset, an official restriction that only adds to the site's mystique. Today, Bangor is not just a historical relic, but the most famous ghost city in India, where the line between reality and legend, between myth and history, is always blurred and shifting. With centuries of history, every stone and wall of the fort seems to whisper stories of love, hatred, and mysteries that will never be fully explained, leaving all who visit with an insatiable curiosity, a chill down their spine, and memories they will never forget. The giant Palouse earthworm. Since ancient times, Aristotle compared earthworms to the intestines of the earth. This metaphor highlights the crucial role these seemingly small creatures play in nourishing and sustaining our planet's soil. Over the centuries, earthworms have remained an indispensable link in maintaining the planet's healthy ecosystems. Yet, when it comes to the giant creatures that once lived on American soil, few know of the Palouse earthworm, a mystery buried deep beneath the thick soil of the Palouse Prairie, stretching across Idaho and Washington. In the 19th century, records described this white worm as a fairly common sight in local fields, with astonishing size. Some accounts claim that a fully grown Palouse worm could reach nearly 1 meter in length, stirring both curiosity and caution among the local people. However, as waves of land development swept the region, the Palouse Prairie changed drastically under the impact of machinery, chemicals, and large-scale agriculture. The pristine landscape that once nurtured the giant worms shrank, and traces of their existence slowly disappeared over time. Their mysterious disappearance left many scientists wondering if the Palouse worm ever truly existed, or if it was merely the product of imagination and local folklore. But after decades of debate, a turning point came in recent years. Using special electric devices to stimulate the soil, researcher Carl Umer from the University of Idaho managed to coax a few small, young white worms to the surface. Though only juveniles were found, this discovery proved that the Palouse worm still survives, albeit in extremely limited numbers. It is hard to imagine that in just 2 centuries, almost the entire habitat of this species has been altered or destroyed by human activity. Once fertile lands teeming with strange creatures now bear only faint traces, and unchecked agricultural expansion has driven the giant worm to the brink of extinction. The story of the Palouse earthworm is not just a reminder of the fragility of the natural world, but a warning about the impact humans have on Earth's biodiversity. The last dinosaur in the Congo. Deep in the vast rainforests of the Congo Basin, a legend has quietly circulated for centuries, captivating not only the local people, but the entire world. As early as the 16th century, European missionaries heard tales of a mysterious creature known to locals as Mokele Mbembe. No one knows the origin of the name, but descriptions of the beast always evoke images of a prehistoric dinosaur. An enormous creature with a long neck, an equally long tail, and a body as massive as an elephant, living quietly in the deepest swamps of Central Africa's jungles. With a single flick of its tail, it was said to send waves across the water, astonishing anyone lucky or unlucky enough to witness it. These rumors never faded, but instead spread beyond Africa, thanks in part to explorers and Western literature. In the early 20th century, famed animal collector Carl Hagenbeck recounted his journeys to the region, claiming to have heard many speak of a dinosaur-like animal still living in the jungle. Soon after, Bernard Heuvelmans, considered the father of cryptozoology, collected and analyzed accounts of Mokele Mbembe, turning it into a worldwide phenomenon. The idea that a real dinosaur could still survive in the modern era became irresistibly fascinating to the public imagination. The legend's fame only grew, drawing more explorers and expeditions. From the mid-20th century to the present, many have ventured into the depths of the forest, bringing cameras, measuring equipment, and the hope of making history. Blurry footage, huge footprints in the mud, and hastily snapped photographs have spread across countless forums. Some even claim to have seen the creature swimming across the river or vanishing behind dense trees. Yet, despite all efforts, to this day, there is no scientific evidence to confirm the existence of dinosaurs in the Congo. Even Roy McCall, a biologist and veteran cryptid hunter, has failed to find clear traces after years of expeditions. A great question still lingers over this humid land. Could a real dinosaur truly have survived for millions of years, evading human eyes in the forests of Congo? Or is it all simply a product of imagination, a reflection of humanity's enduring desire to discover the last remaining miracles on Earth. If you found these mysterious stories fascinating, leave your thoughts below and don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss our next discoveries. See you in the next video.